Gary, has a full week on the training ground been just what you've needed after Plymouth on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it has. It's been exactly what we've needed. We've had some long old trips, as you know, us and the supporters that travelled. So it was nice to be able to put in sort of double-ish sessions, certainly double time, on things that we wanted to work on and improve on. And with a bit of luck, that'll show out in our next couple of games. But yeah, the lads have, we've kept them bright. The season's not lost just yet. And I still believe in that this group will be able to win football matches, and more importantly, the only way you win football matches is to score goals. But I think Harry Kane's on a bad spell at the moment, and he's on 20 times more than our boys, so it happens to the best.
Yeah, also had the reserves game against Newport in midweek. How useful has that been for you?
Well, it's only useful in the fact that it got people like Downsy, Munsey, it got them match fitness. I wouldn't say sharpness just yet, because with all due respect to Newport, it was a young team that they brought over. But certainly it's better for them to play against people they don't know. And obviously the people they don't know they've been injured, and they don't mind kicking them, clipping them, challenging them, and all that sort of thing. So you get that benefit if you're coming back from injury, and I think both of them would realise that their injuries have cleared up, which is good. That's the first thing you have to have in your mind, and be confident that any game you play in, your injury's strong.
So Downsy come through it okay, then no sort of side effects afterwards?
No, I think his hair's got a bit darker, maybe that's a side effect. No, it's there's no side effects. No, they both came away with tired, of course. More Munsey because he hadn't done as much training, but no, I think they would both feel that when I'm ready, I'm ready, Gaffer, when you're ready.
And actually, just how good is that to have Jack Munns back in the mix? Because obviously, he can be a provider of quality chances.
Yeah, he can. He got quite a few assists last year, didn't he? And quite a few goals. So that's good to have him in and around the group at the moment. He didn't join us until now, later in the week. So he missed the sort of Monday, Tuesday sessions because of the game that he needed to play in. So, but he's there. He's in the squad at the moment, and whether he starts or whether he's on the bench, we haven't decided yet. But it's good to have somebody that knows our way of playing, that's into our spirit, into our philosophies and all that sort of thing, back fit. So it's another one on the line, you can trust.
And Carl Storer wasn't risked because of his calf. What's the situation with him at the moment?
Well, the medical team have decided that he probably needs an injection. He's back, he's okay one day, and then the next day he's feeling stiff, and that affects then your hamstrings, etc., etc. So, and his calf. So he's having this injection. It means that he's out. It's like a steroid epidural type injection, and it does work, and it's sort of like you don't like putting things in people's bodies, but at the same time, the medical team believe that he'll come out of it better, quicker. So, but it means that when you have that, a bit like dates, that you have to have a couple of weeks with it to kick in.
Well, we're talking injuries. Everyone else okay?
Yeah, I think so. I can't think of anyone else that's injured right at this minute, as you just thrown the question at me. But no, I think that's it, because I think dates should be very near availability on Saturday. Obviously, you just said about Munsey, Downsy. So we got 2 or 3 back that are old school, and we need them back.
Newport, is it nearly a derby for you? I mean, it's sort of regional rather than sort of local derby, isn't it?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't. Listen, we've got to treat it like a very, very important game. So we have to treat it like a derby, whether it is or isn't. probably nearer me in Bristol, then I don't know. But it's nice that we got an away trip that's not very far. That's lovely. That's a great something different for us in away trips. So we know, it's an important game. I think they're 1 point behind us, but with their game being abandoned, they're only played 5. So now we have to treat the game that is very, very important for us to win, and I'm sure their manager feels the same for them.
And obviously the Rodney Parade pitch has been getting headlines, and they've got 3 teams playing on it this season. They're only won so far, and that abandonment on Saturday against Barnet you talk about. I mean, I suppose you'd rather go there now than February, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's good to get the games in of the teams that have got pitches that they're not 100% sure of. So yeah, I mean, we haven't had any rain, I don't think, or not much anyway, since their deluge last Saturday. So it should be just right, I would have thought, this weekend. Just right for them, just right for us. So yeah, you can't afford to get games behind if you can help it. You've got to try and hang on in there and make sure you're there with the crowd, and you don't want to be below halfway and 2 or 3 games behind, because people don't ever mention you got 2 or 3 games in hand when that happens.
Obviously there's been a lot about not taking chances and sort of not converting chances, not scoring enough goals. I mean, is that something you've been able to put right on the training ground this week?
Well, you can put it right on the training ground quite comfortably. You get the individuals concerned shooting at an empty goal with no goalie. And just say keep sticking it in the back of the net. But it's very difficult to replicate the actual sort of mentality of doing it in a game. And all strikers are the same. If you get one like Buses, another one will come along pretty soon. It's getting that first one, especially for somebody like Wrighty that's not been at this level before. But they're working hard. We're sort of 1 or 2 wins away from being where we want to be. If we can get them early, then. And I think I keep saying, I moan about it. Of course I do, because it's goals that win games. And when you don't score, you have to say, look, be honest with everybody and say, look, we didn't score any of our chances. But hopefully we will, because it's not about this level. It's about human nature, and that's what happens. And I'm sure when one of them gets one, then they'll go on a little bit of a run.
And obviously you had a look at Ben Kalambe in the reserve game on Tuesday. What's the situation with him?
Well, Ben, we're just giving him a few extra days. We said that he hadn't played anywhere for quite a long time. He'd come over on these UK trials that we saw him in, and his brother spoke to us and said, please have a look at him, which we did. And but he's not ready yet. So we're seeing over these next few days whether his quality can get a fitness in time, but we have to judge that in the next few days, and really that's what we're doing. But he's a great kid. It's a good system that they've got, this company, UK Trials, is that what they call them?
UK Football Trials.
Yeah, UK Football Trials, and they do well, bringing a lot of kids from all over the world into the UK. Pete's done a bit of work for them as well, and I think Ashley Hopkins has done a bit of work, so we know it well. And if there is a little gem somewhere out there, then they try and bring them across. And, it's been good, and he's close. Whatever happens, he's close. But it'll be the fitness for him, because he hasn't played regular football for some time due to a knee problem that he had that he's now recovered from.
Thank you. Good luck.
No problem.
Is he the only one that's maybe close to you're looking at the moment? You mentioned last week that you might be looking at a few free transfers.
Yeah, we're still looking at a couple of free transfers, and they're still there. They're out there anyway. Sometimes they're experienced lads that have not been able to get the money they've wanted, and so they're waiting for a club to pay that. I always want to see these people first. Some people, before we start, shelling out good wages, I need to see whether they're fit, what they've done, are they ready now, will they be ready at Christmas, have they seen better days, Is it just a name that? So we have to see all that, and I think some players see that as a trial, and they don't like that. And I'm not willing to sort of pay anyone without seeing them firsthand, training with us for a few days before I sign them, unless they're regularly playing at the moment, which if you're a free agent, they're not.
So it sounds like there's been a couple of conversations as
there's been
can you come in, and they've gone no.
Well, maybe not that rudely.
No.
Thank you, but no.
Yeah.
That's what happens, and then they'll seek other places and try and get what they think they're worth. But a lot of them are free agents because they're not being able to get what they think they're worth.
Mm-hmm. Just on the training ground and the work you've been doing, has it been sort of emphasis on a bit of fun this week to try and sort of calm minds down as much as anything with the mentality of scoring goals? Because you can't have somebody sort of stressed out on a pitch, really, can you?
No, you're right, and there is a balance between having fun and making sure you're organised. I think what we've done is this week, funny enough, we gave them something new to think about. We did a couple of 11v11s over sort of 20-25 minute periods to get a little bit of a shape and a pattern that I thought we'd lost a little bit. So we reiterated some of that, and then that session's the organised concentration session, and then we have a fun and entertainment session which relaxes them. We call it a recreation period where the manager's not getting in at them. I just let them go on with it and enjoy it. And that's how you do it. You can't have the lads not wanting to come in on particular days because it's going to be miserable. They know we do our review, we do it in here, we keep it in-house, we say what we need to say, they say what they need to say, and then we go and try and put it right on the pitch, on the training pitch for the first half of the week. Second half of the week, you're trying to be ready for the next game. So, there's a time when you have to put a full stop, at the end of the last match, and then start again for the new match.
7 games in, obviously, after Saturday. Is it fair to say that a win is needed to keep on track with where you want to be?
Well, yeah, I think it is. But Bristol Rovers, had to put in a long winning run to get into the playoffs last year. So it's not always doom and gloom, and at this stage, no game is absolute must to win. However, it will help your cause if after 10 games, and we've got 4 games left, that we're very close or in and around the playoffs at least, and then you're in and around the promotion side of it as well. So 10 games, ask me the question again and I'll answer it more emphatically.
7 points off top spot this year, 6 points off top spot at the same time last year.
Is that what it was? Well, there you go. So we're one behind, but the next level up, and we haven't quite hit form yet. We won't talk about the injuries again, although I've just done it. So I'm looking forward to when we got that real competition for places, and that livens certainly everybody up.
Just on Kyle, he must have been absolutely distraught to have that happen this week and not 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, exactly. But you can't. The minute anyone has a little strain, suddenly start sticking needles in them, sort of thing. So I'm just thinking when you said about injured lads, Amari Morgan-Smith has got a slight problem as well that we got to look at. Who was we? Oh yeah, Carl. But we just talked about him. It would have been better 2 weeks ago, but when he upped his training, the minute he done that, then he had a slight problem, and the medical experience told us that he needs this. So for the sake of a couple of games, it's better that he has this injection.
And finally on Downsy, obviously he's currently still week to week in terms of his contract. Is that a conversation you're going to have with him quite soon now?
I don't think we need it right now because the club in their wisdom have paid him while he wasn't available. Sometimes people have these big injuries and club in the close season says thanks a lot, but no thanks. But we've kept faith with him. He understands that. We're talking all the time, me and Downsy, about it, and he's going to need to have a few games on the trot, look comfortable, feel comfortable. But at the moment, nobody's got any problems with the situation right now of him being. He's sort of under contract anyway because you're paying him. But anyway, obviously for his security, a bit later on, we're going to have to decide when we give a contract out, sort of thing. But he's got to have played a few games yet and come through it, which I'm sure he will. And we're not looking to move him on. He's fantastic for our club, and we need him. I want him around.
It's the first time you've had all your central defenders available, and you've got what, 5 now playing for 3 positions.
Yeah, we have, and that's good. And the 3 centre backs will know that. I think that's probably a very strong part of our team at the moment, along with our goalkeeper. And there's certain players that at this moment in time are pretty set. They've done well. They've been very consistent. And then there's 3 or 4 that were sort of seeing, oh, go on, then you have a go now because he hasn't done that well, and then put somebody else in. So we haven't quite got our team. You got that team when you have 3 or 4 wins on the trot.
And you just want the ones that aren't set to put their hands up and say, look, that this is my shirt now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, exactly. Of course you do, and that disappoints the others, but then that raises their standards to try and move them out, etc. So it just raises everybody's standards when there's competition. It just gives me a bit more of a headache, but it's sort of like a nice one, because if you win, that ain't a problem because you pick the same team. If you don't win, then you sometimes have to change 1 or 2 to liven it up a little bit.
Cheers.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gareth.